What if I told you that the pain you carry, the shame you feel, and the belief that you're broken are all lies? Alan Watts believed that the very concept of being broken is an illusion created by the mind. The idea that we are incomplete, that something is wrong with us, that we need to fix ourselves is nothing more than a trap. We are not broken. We are not damaged. The truth is, we are whole from the very beginning. It is only our beliefs, shaped by society, culture, and our experiences, that convince us otherwise. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. We are told from a young age that we must meet certain standards, that we must heal, evolve, and become something more than what we are. We are fed the illusion that healing means becoming better, that we are flawed unless we fit into a certain mold. But Watts revealed the most liberating truth of all. You were never broken to begin with. So, where did this belief come from? Why do we feel like something is wrong with us? It's a product of the mind that judges, compares, and labels everything. The mind that convinces us that we need to fix our flaws, heal our wounds, and become something more than human. But this is not healing. This is self-rejection. How many of your choices are driven by the belief that you need to be fixed, that you need to be different, to be perfect? This very belief traps you in a cycle of self-criticism and guilt, forcing you to search for something outside of yourself that you think will make you whole. When was the last time you allowed yourself to simply be? Not to be better, not to be healed, not to be perfect, but to simply exist as you are, without judgment, without comparison. The truth is, you are not broken. You are not incomplete. But the guilt and shame you carry tell you otherwise. They whisper that you are flawed, that you need to be fixed, that you are not enough. These voices come from the past, society, parents, relationships, and every experience that taught you to reject yourself. Alan Watts saw this clearly. He knew that healing wasn't about fixing yourself. It was about releasing the false beliefs you hold about yourself. It was about letting go of the illusion that you need to become someone else to be worthy of love, respect, and happiness. The truth is, healing begins with acceptance, not just of your strengths, but of your weaknesses, your imperfections, and your darkness. Have you ever considered that your pain, your guilt, your shame are not who you are, but what you've been told you are? These emotions are not part of your true self. They are the consequences of believing in a lie. The lie that you are incomplete, broken, or flawed. You are not defined by your past mistakes or your emotional wounds. They may have shaped you, but they do not define you. In fact, they are just shadows, fears, judgments, and projections that you have been carrying around, often without even realizing it. And the moment you accept them, they lose their power over you. Healing doesn't require you to fix yourself. It requires you to let go of the stories you've been telling yourself about being broken. It requires you to release the belief that you need to be something more than human. Because the truth is, your humanity, your flaws, your scars, your imperfections, is what makes you whole. Have you ever stopped to wonder, why do you feel the need to fix yourself? What is it that you're truly trying to fix? The truth is, there's nothing broken inside you to begin with. It's the mind's constant chatter, its endless judgments, that convince you of this illusion. Alan Watts teaches us that self-healing isn't about becoming something else. It's not about molding yourself into a version of you that you think the world will accept. Healing isn't about eradicating pain or removing imperfections. It's about embracing who you are in your entirety, your strengths, your flaws, your fears, your desires. When you accept yourself, you end the battle with the idea that you need to be fixed. What if the feeling of being broken is just an illusion created by your own mind? What if the wounds you carry, the feelings of guilt and shame, aren't yours to hold anymore? These emotions are the chains that keep you locked in the past. The more you feed them, the more they grow. But healing begins when you stop nourishing them. It begins when you realize that the stories you tell yourself, I am not enough, I am broken, I need to fix myself, are nothing but lies. Self-acceptance is the key. It's the recognition that you were never incomplete, that the true essence of who you are, your authentic self, was never damaged by life's struggles. The real you is whole. The illusion of brokenness is simply a creation of the mind to keep you trapped in fear and self-judgment. What if your past mistakes, your failures, and your pain aren't scars that need to be erased, but simply lessons that have shaped you into who you are today? When you stop trying to fix yourself, you free yourself. Free yourself from the endless cycle of self-criticism, from the belief that you are unworthy, from the shame that tells you that you need to be something more. Healing doesn't require perfection. Healing requires acceptance. Accepting that you are already whole, that you were never broken, and that your humanity is beautiful in all its complexities. Have you ever realized that by trying to fix yourself, you're actually rejecting yourself? You are rejecting the truth of who you are. The idea that you are broken is a false belief, a trap set by the mind. And the more you try to fix yourself, the deeper you fall into this illusion. Alan Watts believed that to truly heal, we must first stop trying to fix who we are. Healing doesn't come from changing or improving yourself. It comes from the recognition that there is nothing to fix in the first place. You are already complete, and all of the shame, guilt, and judgment that you carry are simply mental constructs that keep you trapped in a cycle of self-rejection. The reality is this: healing is the act of returning to your true self. It's about shedding the layers of false beliefs and judgments that you've placed on yourself over the years. These beliefs tell you that you are not enough, that you are flawed, that you need to be fixed. But all of that is just noise. It's not the truth. The truth is that you have always been whole. You were just convinced otherwise. What if healing isn't about changing who you are, but about accepting who you already are? What if the greatest act of healing is the decision to stop rejecting yourself and instead embrace every part of your being, the parts you love and the parts you're ashamed of? Healing begins with this acceptance. It begins when you stop looking for answers outside of yourself and instead turn inward. You don't need to become someone else to be worthy. You need to stop pretending you are someone you are not. You need to stop rejecting the parts of yourself that you've been taught to hide. True healing doesn't require perfection. It requires acceptance and self-love. It requires the courage to look at yourself, unashamed, and say, "This is who I am, and I am whole." When you accept yourself as you are, free from guilt, shame, and the constant pressure to improve, you return to the truth of who you are. And only then can you experience the true freedom that comes from knowing you are enough. What if everything you've been told about fixing yourself is wrong? What if healing isn't about eradicating your flaws or changing who you are, but about accepting the person you've always been? The truth is, you were never broken. The beliefs you've held, the guilt, the shame, they are all the result of an illusion created by your mind. You are not damaged. You are whole. But to accept this truth, you must stop trying to fix what was never broken in the first place. This is the brutal truth that Alan Watts reveals. Healing is not about becoming something more than you are. It's about realizing you are enough exactly as you are. The illusion of brokenness comes from the belief that something is missing, something needs to be fixed. But once you stop chasing that illusion, you stop running from yourself. You stop rejecting your own humanity. How many of your actions are driven by the belief that you need to be fixed? How many of your relationships, your decisions, and your behaviors are motivated by the idea that you are incomplete? The key to healing lies in realizing that this belief is false. Once you accept that you are already whole, the need to fix yourself disappears. True healing comes from self-acceptance, from looking at yourself, flaws, mistakes, and all, and saying, "I am enough." When you stop pretending to be someone you are not, when you stop trying to be perfect, you finally free yourself from the burden of shame. So ask yourself this: who would you be if you stopped believing that you need to fix yourself? What if you could let go of the guilt, let go of the shame, and just be who you are? The moment you let go of the belief that you are broken, you begin to reclaim your life. You stop living in constant self-judgment and start living in self-love. The journey to healing isn't about becoming more. It's about realizing you've always been whole. Now, if you feel the weight of these words, if you're ready to break free from the illusion of being broken, don't stay in silence. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and step into a journey of self-love and healing. Because if you believe that you need to fix yourself, then you are still trapped in the illusion of brokenness. And in the next video, we'll explore how this belief is actually the greatest obstacle to finding true freedom. We'll uncover how the need to fix yourself keeps you stuck, and why true liberation begins the moment you stop trying to change who you are.